Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29, back again for another indie comic review, and this time I'm reviewing issue 6 of 5 of Wynd by James Tynion. Definitely check out this series. The trade paperback also came out recently, and also E-Ratic by Kari Andrews and Brian Reber. I'll be starting off with Wynd. So, moving into the beginning of the review of Wynd, does this cover in any way show or point out something that happens within the story? The answer is surprisingly yes. And it also lets us know that there have been some changes even within this story. To which I gave the cover a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art, which I'll show at the beginning, middle and end. Now this is some art around the beginning. Very consistent. To where we left off the story as well. Some of the art around the middle. And now we'll finally move on to the end. And this is the art around the end. I was really happy with the art in this story. And it's also nice to return to the story of Wynd. Considering it went on hiatus last year, and it was actually originally meant to return in June of this year, but it came back a little bit earlier than expected. But you know what? I'm not worried about that. My rating for the art in this, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Very consistent to the previous issues. So it's nice to see that the artist is doing an incredible job with this. Time to move into the main thing, the story. So how did the story go for its review rating? Now, starting off, did we get any locations? Well, about the only key locations that I could sort of make out were Yossa's kingdom, and of course the ship at sea. It probably wouldn't hurt if Tynion actually put up in the story like where some of these locations are. But did it in any way affect the overall story rating? Not completely. Now, moving into the next area, time. How did it work? How did the story work in like addressing parts in relation to time? At the beginning of the story, we got a bit of a flashback, and I should have said that earlier, but I didn't. And we also moved to a reference where it points out that it's many years later, but it's not giving an accurate time as how many of these many years later is. Which again would not hurt the story. In fact, it would help build the story a little bit more. Now, moving into the cast of characters, linking to the flashback, we saw Molly and Roderick, who basically become the adoptive parents of Wynd. We, of course, got King Yossa and General Zedra, who also appears to be a weird blood, to which Wynd would also be considered a weird blood within this series. Then we had the character of Penelope, of course Wynd's basically adoptive sister being Oakley, and the prince in this that went missing They should have pointed out that character's name, because I've actually forgotten the character's name. But they did actually remember the name of sort of like one of his friends that he brought along, which is by the name of Fawn. That's my only small criticism in regards to that. But overall, the story rating for this, I gave 7 out of 10. James Tinian, it's nice to have the story of Wynd back on shelves. So, time to move on to E-Ratic, issue 5 of 5. So, finally making a start on reviewing E-Ratic. I really look forward to when this actually comes out in trade paperback. I've really enjoyed issues 1 to 5, even though this is basically the first time of it actually being reviewed on the channel, and it is the last of this particular issue in the series. But one thing, it looks like there could be more issues coming. So I better get started and start to discuss the cover. Does this cover in any way show in some part what happens within the story? Surprisingly, it does. Not like in fullness, but it does. But you know what? I really like how this cover is done, and also how it works with the character, to which I gave the cover rating a 9 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art, showing the art around the beginning, middle and end before moving on to the story rating. Alright, this is the art around the beginning. If it's one thing I must say about this art has, like the way how this art has been shown in issues 1 to 5, it has been 100% consistent all the way. And that's also going to reflect on the rating I give it. As you can see here, we've got the character of Oliver Leaf and one of his friends, Kristen. And of course, him getting prepared in his E-Ratic suit. I'll now move to the middle. This is the art around the middle. Really enjoyable here. And I love what happened. Alright, I'll now move towards the end, and you'll get to see how things look towards the end of the story. Actually, in this shot, we do get an appearance of Oliver Leaf's older brother there, as well as the Kristen again making an appearance. E-Ratic, of course, on the left side of the page, going up against his villain. Last but not least, the art towards the end of the story. Oh my goodness, this was amazing. I enjoy how they have actually done the skylines in this, of many of the skyscrapers with the character. And it really stands out, including with some of the light that they used in some of the shots, such as the light coming from the stadium plus the light outside of the stadium. And of course, you've got the time limit as to when Oliver Leaf's power is about to run out. So, the rating for the art in this, considering it's been really consistent all the way through the story, I gave it a 9 out of 10. So, it's time to move on to the last thing, the story. How do we go story rating wise? Well, with the cast of characters, we had Oliver Leaf, Christian, we had Coach Chud, and Doc Peters also appear in this. There was also, of course, Oliver Leaf's brother who showed up in this. The location was actually a football stadium, which was really interesting. It was nice to see the character actually spend a little bit of time with a friend, plus a member of his family, and help supporting a member of his family in their footballing career. Then we had about the key thing that we sort of had covering time was the time limit, or the 10-minute time limit, in reference to Oliver Leaf's alter ego or superhero character name of E-Ratic. And I really enjoyed what happened here, and it was nice to see the hero getting the girl in the end. It was really nicely done, and I really look forward to when the trade paperback comes out. One interesting thing about the villain here is that they tried to use a form of collectivism to sort of like cancel out certain things, and they were, well, in regards to the villain, you could see that they were wanting to push to cancel out everything, including the government, within this story. I thought it was okay for a villain. I do think one of his earliest ones were a little bit more better. Apart from that, I gave this story a rating 9 out of 10. Well, until then, please don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and don't forget to hit the notification bell if you're enjoying the content here. Plus, what indie comics have you been reading? Until then, let's keep it colourful, and if you've now made it to the end of the video, have yourself an awesome day.